we have like it gives us 5 days from when the order comes in to make the approval, so that's fine. That's not a big deal. Yeah, and we can order them through the website until the 30th.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
no, that was super convenient. It was great.
yeah, like because I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work because we didn't do the online ordering last year, so I just jumped on. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna buy just a couple of boxes just to see how it works, because I wasn't sure if they were going to charge, like a credit card fee or anything like that. No, that was super convenient. Just jump out there and pay with the card and be done.
Yeah.
Then we just have to worry about getting them to people. So, considering normally this coming Monday, Martin Luther King Day, that has traditionally been our trudge around the neighborhood and try to sell cookie day.
Okay.
Because she's off of school, I'm off of work. That's that,
Yeah.
So it's a good day to do it. But the last couple of years, it's also been like cold or icy or slushy because it had snowed the weekend before or something. So I said, hey, I guess we don't have to do on Monday.
Nice.
It's got to be in February. The release date on that episode, Fanboy Smackdown episode 49, is the 22nd of February.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. That's the date that it was released.
Yeah, so I mean, but the record date had to have been in February. Like,
yeah,
you didn't sit on it for.
No, not that long.
We were trying to work out the anniversary of when I joined the show.
Okay.
In 2008.
It must have been
13, coming up 13 years.
Forever ago.
So I'm 37. Wow, that's a third of my life, Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't quite claim that I've been doing this podcast for a third of my life. And I've been doing it longer. I have to go a couple more years to hit that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, I have to like 2 or 3 more years at least. I think. I don't know. All I know is I saw this ridiculous infographic on the number of jobs that were lost. And like how many of them were male jobs versus female jobs, but then how many of them were African-American women versus Latina women versus white women. And like, the more I look at it, the more like the math is just broken. I don't understand it. The infographic just doesn't make sense.
No, the infographic doesn't make sense. And if it's the same article I read, the article was also 100% of the job losses were women, which, like, the math, that's not what the math says, although I understand that is a conclusion you can interpret, but that's not how math works.
Right. Also. Yeah. Yeah, it was like 100% of the jobs lost were women, but white women gained 106,000 jobs, but black women only lost 80,000 jobs. And it's like, this math just is not working.
Yeah, you can't do the headline grab in the middle of working out the equation.
Right.
Like when you're simplifying down your fraction, you can't like midway through be like, and this. It's like, okay, but like that's not how context works.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So my mather is broken today after trying to figure that one out. Like I just... All right. Let's get this ball rolling. Hey, this is Tony.
This is Anna.
And this is David.
And we are the Backseat Producers.
All day, every day, and most nights.
And this is episode 499. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of numbers.
That is a big number in some contexts.
In some contexts. In the context of episodes, that's a big number.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we started recording, or probably on this broadcast, I don't know how Tony does this cut now.
I don't think I started the broadcast yet.
Oh.
We were looking up my anniversary date, and it's sometime middle of February 2008. So I'm approaching 13 years of having Tony in my life.
Except
probably longer
it's
than that.
it's
Yeah.
longer than that. It's 13 years that we've been recording together on the regular. Because we did actually record together before that. And
legendary monkey staff. Which, by the way, for a Christmas gift for the last couple years, every time we get around middle of November, what I do is I go out to Etsy and I see if anybody has crafted a monkey head that I could stick onto a staff.
yeah, the year that it happens,
Time.
there's going to be 2 orders from the St. Louis area.
Yeah,
We're just going to give it to each other.
I'm fine with that.
The seller's going to be like, what is happening in St. Louis that this is a thing?
Every year I look. Because one year it's going to be incredible.
It'll be there. It will be there.
Makes me want to take up like bronze working.
You need to get Sam on that.
Ooh.
Get his metal working to put it to some good use finally.
Yeah.
All right, so for our next episode, we will be talking about Hunt for the Wilder People. It will be episode 500. It will be a deal. I think I'm confident in saying it is not going to be recorded next Wednesday. That is also Inauguration Day, and I think we'll all be getting drunk for completely different reasons that night. So I wanted to kind of push it maybe to, we're going to see, I'll make sure that if people are looking for it on Facebook or Twitch, that it's published a couple of days at least in advance, so we know, so people know that it's coming. But I'm thinking maybe the 22nd Friday, because I'd also like to try to call up some people and get them on the show and join us to, if nothing else, for a pop in and say hi and give us the impressions of the movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to it. It's
what's
movie,
nice about the pandemic? The nice thing is that when you have an event like this on a Friday, it's not like people are out doing stuff.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, it's given us some really cool opportunities to have these reunion shows, like on YouTube and things like that. The thing that I'm blanking on it, Josh Gad, the thing that Josh Gad's done a few times, where he's pulled together casts of movies.
Yeah.
It's unprecedented. We can't do that.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd looks exactly the fucking same.
Doesn't he?
How is that possible? He's old. Like, he's just old now, but he looks exactly the same as he did in the original movies.
Yeah.
And like 1955 Doc Brown, not 1985 Doc Brown.
Yeah, he doesn't look a whole lot different in any of the time periods, including actual 2021.
Yeah, actual 2021. Yeah.
So the other nice thing about the pandemic is that we can just have TV shows and binge them in a day.
Can confirm.
Have you seen The History of Swear Words yet?
No, I haven't.
That's Nick Cage, man. I'm
I know.
surprised.
Even he tried to lure me in with his seductive basso.
And that sexy beard he's sporting during this. It looks good. Looks good on him.
He has weird colored eyes.
Does he?
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed.
They're too blue-green.
Hmm.
Oh! I noticed very intensely when we watched The Rock. She's sitting there naked playing that guitar. It's a prime focus of the shot.
His eyes.
His eyes, yeah. My eyes are up here, Tony.
Yeah. So yeah, I will recommend History of Swear Words. I watched it, all 6 episodes. I think watching them back to back took less time than watching the movie that we watched for this evening. Because they're only like 20-minute long episodes.
This movie was 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it was.
And
This is longer than I remember. Yeah.
It felt much longer.
All right, so we are talking this evening about I'm thinking of ending things. Or is it ending things or ending it?
I believe
Ending things. Ending things, yeah. Based on a novel.
Iain Reid, yeah.
Anna, what did you think?
I liked it. It's a lot to dig into.
There is a lot to dig into. I concur. David, what's your thoughts?
I liked this movie, but I did not enjoy it.
Okay. I liked this movie. And yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Without getting into the meat of it, high level, I liked the movie. Would recommend.
Yep. Did recommend.
Yeah.
If you remember.
I do remember.
So what the first thing I immediately did after I finished watching this movie is I looked at the director and I was like, I feel like I've watched this movie before.
Yep.
And then
Wonder why.
To it, and I was like, oh, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and adaptation also, right?
An adaptation. Oh, I don't remember adaptation at all. I don't think I've even seen it.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but I don't remember it. I don't know. After seeing a lot of movies, sometimes I don't remember them here and there.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this. Oh my god, look at that fro on Nicolas Cage. Alright, I gotta close that down. Yeah.
So the two leads in this are the young woman and Jake are both alums of Fargo, the TV series.
Oh.
In different seasons. So they were not in the same season together. Jesse Plemons, Jake, was in the first or second season. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember if it was first or second. But it's been a while, and I can't remember the actor's name, the one who played the young woman. And I'm not being coy. That was the name she's credited with.
Oh, okay.
The young woman.
Buckley?
Huh?
Jessie Buckley?
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Actress'
Jessie
name.
Plummer, but it's definitely Jessie Buckley. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Jessie Buckley. She is in the most recent season of Fargo and plays a character with a very similar accent. So I don't know if that's her, if she's got that northern accent or
She's Irish.
Really.
So that might be the only American accent she can do without needing a lot of extra coaching.
Maybe she's just really good at that accent because
Yeah.
like it sounds very natural.
No, good.
And she's really good in Fargo.
Okay.
So I had like really pleasant memories of watching her in Fargo and then seeing her in this. It's like, yeah, I want to pay more attention to the things she's in because she's good. She's really good.
Yeah, I was looking at her. What was it? It was Wild Rose was another one. What was it? It was from a couple of years ago. Yeah, she has a couple that I definitely want to see.
Yeah.
Also, she was in Chernobyl. If you haven't watched Chernobyl,
Yes, she has.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Chernobyl's really good.
Chernobyl's pretty good. If you like history, I guess, or history-adjacent things, because Russia apparently won't let anybody know what happened at Chernobyl, so we're just guessing.
And or Stellan Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård. Yep. So I enjoyed both of their performances.
Yeah.
Also, Toni Collette and David Thewlis were pretty good too.
Yes, they were.
And this okay, so this I did not enjoy this movie because this movie felt like a 2 hour and 15-minute puzzle.
Oh my God. So, sorry. David Thewlis is also an alum of Fargo TV series. So that's just interesting how that's all connecting. Though, if I'm not mistaken, all different seasons.
Well,
I'm just verifying. So
he's also the shame wizard.
he is the shame wizard. Yeah. So Jessie Plemons was in 2015, which I believe is the first season. David Thewlis is 2017, and then Jessie Buckley is 2020, the most recent season.
He also died at the Battle of Hogwarts. Just throwing that out there.
Really?
Yeah, because he's Remus Lupin.
Oh, okay.
I did not need to look that up to know that.
I
just knew that already.
I would have needed to look that up. I'm not as up on the Harry Potter movies as you are.
That is balls deep in Harry Potter. Actually, now that I've said that, I don't like the way that sounds. That didn't come out midway through. Didn't like the way that was coming out.
But you had to commit. You were.
Yeah, I mean, it's not wrong. I just don't like the way it sounds.
It's just all about the follow through at that point.
Yeah.
So you were saying that it felt like putting together a puzzle.
Yeah. Well, so here's my history of of my watch of this movie. I think Ann and I started watching this movie one night. We got like an hour in, and then it was getting late, and I was like, I don't have this in me. I don't have it in me to finish this. Which is incredibly rare for me with a movie because I hate doing that. This was months ago. So when I went to finish the movie today, I was like, I can't not watch. I can't not watch the entire movie. But we'd watched an hour of. We watched half the movie, so I already knew there was fuckiness going on in the movie. So then, when I watched it the second time, I was like, well, shit, what did I miss the first time when I wasn't paying close attention?
So did you leave when they pulled into the school parking lot or after?
After.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Hold on. Before. I left right before they left the house.
Okay.
So the second car scene was the entirety of what I had, was where I needed to start.
Okay. That makes sense. No, I just kind of, you left and I kept watching it, and so I couldn't remember.
Well.
But I rewatched it today.
Well, did you get your fill of old man ass?
You can never have enough old man ass.
I feel like you can. I got my fill today.
See, there's not a whole lot of old man ass.
Well,
but I dare say there is enough.
The quota is not very high.
Enough.
So, I don't even really know how to tackle this situation. So,
let me ask this: if you remember from your first viewing, and Anna, if you remember, at what point did you realize that things were awry?
There were some points in the car.
On the way there?
Yes, where it looked like his clothing changed, like it got dressier.
Oh, I did not notice that.
And then also there was something going on with, I thought that there was either, because I didn't realize it was going to be like a sort of psychological whatever. I just liked the mood and the look of it, and David likes sort of melancholy romance stuff, so that's why I picked it.
I mean, it's a good choice for that, based on what's presented.
And
that poem.
And I wound up liking it more because I love some good psychological, eerie, So
Right.
As we got in, I wasn't sure whether or not I should have read, like, if I should read the situation as like a genre thing, or is there some kind of gaslighting going on, or is she having a psychological break? Mostly when it came to things like, no, I've never heard of Wordsworth, and then she's got poems that she writes. Yeah, and then the whole just landscape swing set thing was kind of part of the unsettling piece. But I didn't know, it wasn't until I started noticing like there was a change at some point in like what looked like was under his coat, and also the way his hair was done, but then definitely by the time you got to the house and her sweater was changed, I knew that like the film was doing something, and it wasn't it wasn't a break, it wasn't something the characters were doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a failing on my part, is I did not notice the costume changes. The scenes in the car were a little dark, not as dark as the later scenes in the car, which I almost could not make out. I was watching it on a computer monitor, and where I was sitting, like I had sunlight behind it. There were times where I could not, like I was just looking at a black screen. I knew it was playing. Yeah. Like every once in a while I saw a flicker of light, but like there are people talking, but I couldn't see anything. It was so dark during that long car ride at the end. Not that was bad, but it also was kind of realistic at night in a car driving. When there's no lights around, it's dark. It's dark inside the car. You're not going to see anything. At first, it was a little odd that they would choose that for the movie, the lighting. But it was like, no, that's actually pretty realistic.
Yeah, no, that fit for me.
I have driven at night in a blizzard before. That's what it looks like.
So for me, it wasn't the costume change details in the car that led me to believe that there was fuckery about. It was the so I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound stupid, but like there's a rhythm to the way that dialogue is written, and there is no rhythm to the way that their dialogue is written. Like it is uncomfortably erratic. And so like he's presented as this idiot to begin with, and then he's like balls deep in this poetry stuff, and then he's really deep into this evolutionary biology stuff. So it's like, all right, there's fuckery about here. Something needs paying attention to, because this feels too much like a fantasy situation than a reality situation.
Yeah. That all felt odd to me, but I tried not to read too much into that. I wasn't sure if that was a mistake, if it was bad writing, because there was the tempo to it wasn't right.
Right. But the problem was that the writing was not bad.
No, it was not the writing. It was not the writing at all.
Because you could like even her poem is really good, and then he's like, "Well, do you know Wordsworth?" And she's like, "No, I don't know who that is." Oh. Okay, there's fuckery about.
So that's kind of how so the way I read the way the dialogue was, and this was the first time and the second time. I mean, clearly from the title and from just the opening, they should be headed towards a breakup, despite based on what's going on inside of her. Although the thing they're actually doing is typically a step forward in a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so the way I read it was almost like, there's that marriage counselor, John Gottman, and he has in relationships, very specific things. He did some studies in the 80s, basically, where he could look at couples interacting and take video of conversations between them and make pretty good predictions on whether they'd be together in 3 years.
Sure.
And a lot of that had to do with responding to your partner's questions and picking things up and carrying it forward. And basically, and he has a specific list of 5 to 7 things. And it's about responding to bids in appropriate ways, bids for attention. And each time they put something out, the other one either completely misses it or picks it up in a way that's completely wrong. Take something metaphorically when it wasn't metaphorical. Take something incredibly literally when it was obviously not literal. They just completely miss each other. And it was clearly the conversation of a couple that should not be together. And to me, that was what was going on there. And then especially when it's picked up, when they go to the house and they bring up Tolstoy's statement about all happy families are in the same way unhappy families are the ones that are unique. Mm-hmm. And she sort of switches it. Tolstoy's talking about families, but she says it's about marriage. And I just thought it was interesting. And he sort of says, well, happiness is nuanced, and it is, but they're clearly doing all of the things that and I guess it sort of picks that up that it's very stepwise and obvious and unnuanced the ways in which they're not happy. So there's a lot going on, I feel with dialogue, with attunement and picking up and missing each other that's going on through the whole movie. So I feel it was very good writing in that way.
Yeah. And the promise of a dog, but no dog. That's miserable.
Dog, he's just dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's worse.
He comes in and out because of the way the timeline,
mm-hmm.
in some moments we get Jemmy and then others we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I was trying not to read too much into the movie because my first thought was the title's meaningful, but is it really that they're going to break up, or is it I'm thinking of ending things being suicide?
Yeah, that's what that's the first place I went.
That was where I went too. And with how erratic she was, with how she was taking things literally and not literally, and the scattered thinking, I wasn't convinced that it was all just about breaking up, even when she said it was about breaking up right away. Yeah. I was still riding that fence of, is this about suicide?
Well, I actually thought that was going to be the twist. I thought the twist is we were going to get her internal monologue about breaking up as a couple, but the story was actually about him killing himself.
Right. Yeah. And I wasn't sure how that was going to go until we're in conversations with mom and dad. And this is before the timeline shifts got really obvious.
Yeah.
He called her by different names a couple of times, and she didn't react at all to being called a different name until he called her Ames. And that's what really threw her off. It wasn't the variance on Lucy, which was the name that was calling her on the phone.
At first, yeah.
Yeah. So at that point I was like, wait a minute, this is not what I think it is. And I immediately started looking for things schizophrenia, a psychotic break of some kind. And spoiler, once I headed down that path, like I kept seeing it over and over. Like that path just kept getting kind of honing in right toward the end. I was approaching as X approached infinity. I was heading right toward psychosis.
Yeah.
Like that just felt very much the way I was thinking, like an answer. Now, looking back through it, I think that's open for interpretation.
Yeah, because I saw it completely differently. Didn't even think about it in terms of psychosis. But now that you say that, like looking back, she's the only one who doesn't have a clear memory. She says, "I grew up in a house like this," and then immediately starts talking about an apartment. She talks about her memory being foggy and not being able. She projects herself onto the picture of him when he was little. So yeah, the timeline is fucked for everyone. It's like it's not right, but it's almost like she doesn't have a timeline.
Well, see, here's the thing with my psychosis theory that I didn't fully flesh out.
More broken. Oh, sorry.
She's not real. She's not a real person. But in my theory is she's not a real person. He is the one with the psychosis. She is a figment of his imagination, perhaps of a girl that he knew. Perhaps at one point she says, my girlfriend and I were together at a restaurant and he came up and just started talking to us, which was different. Like that, there was differences in the story. But when that happens, that story is very clear, very straightforward. There's no hemming and hawing about that story. That story just felt very matter of fact. Like that was the way it happened. Then everything else was his fantasy version of how they met, how they became a couple, how she's the girlfriend from that lives in Canada. That you don't know her, she lives in Canada, you know, and but he's relayed this story to people so much that this is the story, and in his mind she has become a real person, and all of this plays out while he's cleaning the school.
So I never got the psychosis angle from it. I just got he's an old man and he's reliving some of these memories, and his memories are not that great. So like, you know how some of the details in some of your memories start to lose a little crispness as time goes on. So I think that the chick he imagines in the car isn't real, but she was a real person that he stared creepily at over at a bar one time. The girl he actually brought to see his parents is the girl we see for maybe 30 seconds in the car when you probably didn't even see this, Tony, where they change actresses completely in the car. It's a completely different person for
I probably couldn't see that.
Yeah, it's a completely different person for about 30, 45 seconds. I think that's the chick that actually went with him to see his parents. It's just that he can't remember what she looks like. So he's just imposed this one chick that he was obsessed with at a bar one time, right? And so we even see different like sequences where I don't think it's a timeline jumble. I think all that stuff happened. It's just that he can't remember like the exact sequencing of it, right? Like if you think back to the last 10 Christmases you have, like you may remember what happened, but not the sequence of it, right? Which is why like his parents are at varying states of ages throughout like some mundane stuff that happens. That's why the dog is alive sometimes and the dog isn't alive sometimes. And none of that stuff kind of makes any sense. All the details are washed out in this like snowy environment background, and you never see the edges of anything. There's no containers to anything. It's just like disconnected scenes connected to each other, which is also why it explains why the dialogue is so disjointed, because like you'll have interesting conversations with people that'll stick with you, but you don't remember the low points in the conversation, which is why the dialogue feels so jumbled, because it's nothing but a highlight reel of interesting conversations he had with people in this car.
Right. And I think along that same line, setting it at his parents' house, unless your parents move, I know my parents' house, with the exception of a new piece of furniture or, some new knickknack, it's looked the same for a while.
Yep.
I mean, this house that I live in looks pretty much the same as it has the whole time Holden and Aaron have been alive. With the exception of when it's Christmas time, it changes up. But at Christmas time, it always changes up mostly the same way. So your memories of it, everything will look the same. The background won't be vastly different.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier to jumble those conversations. It's not like you had a conversation at this bar versus this house versus, in the car or what have you. Yeah, so I agree with you in all of that, but to me it's still there was still something off about his mental state.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure. I mean,
I think also the version of himself that he was when he was younger is a fantasy version, because that version, there's not a clear line from being the person he thought he was through the course of the movie to an old man who's a janitor overnights at a high school. Like there's not a clear path that leads there.
Well, and it seems like, see, I wondered, and I haven't like completely figured out for myself. I think there's something going on here with time, memory too, but maybe even time. But I felt like there was a real playing around with versions of yourself at different moments, and what it means to collapse all those versions of yourself into the same visit, into the same interaction. And I think that was happening, and that's what makes it make sense for the dancer, old Jake, to kill the young Jake, dancer young Jake, because he killed the man who could have loved a woman, who could have been a partner, who like still had that potential in him, even if it was shitty potential. But where that was maybe a possibility, at some point Jake turned off to where that was just not possible. He was way too far gone for even dysfunctional love.
Really? So I
had a different take on that.
Okay.
But
me too. I thought he killed someone. I think he killed someone.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that he definitely murdered
like
someone.
a real person.
Yeah, like a real person. Like, because even in his memories, he's not stable.
No, he's not okay.
Yeah, like no, he's got some stuff going on, and like in a lot of these memories, we're seeing the best version of him, and he can't keep it together in his best version.
Yeah.
So like, he's got some stuff we're not seeing. And I think like the dance sequence is a way of abstracting away. Like, she is very clear as a memory, even though it looks like she's an amalgam of a bunch of different memories. But the dance sequence seems very abstracted away from like that's a step removed from what he even wants to remember, so he doesn't remember it right.
So this is like a repressed subconscious thing that he's like tucked off. So is that what makes then the whole pig and lamb thing make sense? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I went down that path for a while too, and I think that is definitely one possibility. I think the other possibility, if we look at him as more innocent than that, uh, though I fully agree that dude could have murdered somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is not far from reality. The other thing that I was thinking of in terms of this is that this is when he finally let the dream die. The dream of that person that he thought he could have been.
Mhm.
This old man who's working in this, he's in this place as an old man. His parents are probably long gone, and all these dreams that he had. So he's literally killing that version of himself that would never end up doing those things, because they didn't do those things, because he's now this janitor at the high school.
Mhm.
So that was another way I took it. I think that's honestly less likely than him murdering someone, though.
Who do you think he might have killed, David? That girl in the car, or?
That might have been her boyfriend. Because she
Yeah.
went on about her. She's like, "Oh God, I wish my boyfriend was around so I could be safe." And how ridiculous is it that I have to have a man around to claim me to be safe?
Okay, see, that's where I got thrown off. Because remember, she said at the beginning of that whole thing, not even conversation, but things she's saying, monologue to old Jack, where she says, "I was at the bar with my girlfriend. It was our anniversary."
Yeah.
And he kept staring at me creepily. This is the price of being a woman, or just the reality of being a woman. And then she switches, "Sometimes I wish I had a boyfriend."
Right.
And I thought, well, what is that? Is it like, have we had a shift in reality here? Have we had, because that's a weird thing to say when you're in a happy relationship with a woman.
Is it? I don't know. I'm never in happy relationships with women, so I don't.
Yeah, it feels like a weird thing to say. Like, to sort of say, "I wish that," rather than like just cursing, like only cursing the fact that it's necessary. I mean, it's one thing when you're not like present somewhere with a man to lie about having a boyfriend or to whatever, but like to have literally been out with your girlfriend on your anniversary and to say, sometimes I wish I had it, feels weird to me. And so I actually didn't know how to read that moment. If there was some kind of break going on, or if that was...
I didn't catch that she was at the bar with her girlfriend for their anniversary.
She specifically said, because I had to rewind that, because I thought, oh, maybe she said her boyfriend, and no, I was at the bar with my girlfriend. It was our anniversary.
Yeah.
And that's when he's staring creepily. So it like adds in this layer of she's queer and he's not taking that in at all, or doesn't care, or whatever.
I was there with my girlfriend. We were celebrating our anniversary, stopped in for a drink, and then this guy. All right. I've gotten really into this subtitle life.
Oh, that's smart. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to read that moment.
And I remember thinking, I wish my boyfriend was here.
Yeah.
Maybe she has both.
Maybe, but it feels like a weird break.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, that's one weird break in a 2 hour and 15-minute sequence of weird breaks.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack.
Another weird break. Yeah.
This is why I liked this movie, but I did not enjoy watching it. This is like watching this movie was work.
I actually enjoy watching movies like this. Like I actually do like
because
trying to figure it out. Yeah, I do. I like trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so I stopped watching at the hour mark, but like before they leave the house. So I was on high alert when I started rewatching it earlier today. And so like in the first 5 seconds of the movie, first 30 seconds of the movie, he's standing at the window as old man, and then they change scenes, they come back, he's standing in the exact same position as the young man, and then they go away. So it's like, fuck, okay, well.
Oh, this is the reason why I think they're doing something with time. The Wendy's bag.
The what?
The Wendy's bag is a really old logo for Wendy's.
Oh.
It's like their first logo for Wendy's.
Is it? I thought that was the Tulsi's bag. I thought that was the logo for the...
Yeah, okay, that's where... Okay, well then, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, that whole scene at Tulsi's was creepy as fuck.
I loved every second of it.
So this weekend, Julie and Holden decided they wanted to watch the movie Hereditary, the horror movie. Yeah, that movie was dumb.
Yeah,
that movie was dumb as hell.
It's a stupid plot, but it's a gorgeous movie.
Okay,
and
but it
there's
was
a lot
dumb.
of fascinating acting.
But it was dumb. Holden kept working himself up to be scared, so he kept freaking out over little things.
No, it's not like that.
But the movie wasn't scary. It was just weird and dumb. Like it's like there's nothing scary about this movie. It's just weird for weird's sake. And yes, some horrific things happen, but you're not selling a story. That whole sequence at Tulsi's, is it Tulsi's?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That whole sequence at Tulsi's was 10 times more creepy and scary than anything that happened in the entirety of the movie Hereditary. It was just so cool and creepy, and it was just this sense of creeping dread about the whole thing. Like I was so into that. Like it felt so right that it was so weird.
It's weird to me how much thought went into constructing these scenes like cinematically, in which the scene looks like no thought has been put into it.
Yeah.
Like, because the Tulsi's looks just like this shit, like it looks like a bad prop diner, like a bad prop like fast food milkshake stand, which is what it is, but that's also supposed to be what it is. It's just really well constructed, and like the backdrop of the blizzard, so that it just appears as though it's this bright shining light in the middle of nothingness, is so perfectly put together. And like just every bit about it is just like them looking at him and like him not looking at them. It's just it was so good.
When she's clearly the one trying to get their attention, they stick their heads out, look right at him, and can we help you, sir? It's like, yeah, that was another point that for me solidified that she doesn't exist. Like that's where I started putting that together. It's like she's not really there. She's never been there. And then replaying it all kind of fits from a certain point of view.
Yeah. Also, so just having this playing here on this other monitor, which I can do since we're not in person. Do you remember the scene where old him is watching the TV show?
Yeah, that movie.
The diner waitress.
Mm-hmm.
The diner waitress is the person that she turns into for those 30 seconds while they're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That chick was on The Boys.
Yes, she is.
And her boyfriend in that is Quentin from The Magicians, which is terrible, and you should read the book, which is very good.
I tried to watch the TV show. I watched, I think, 45 minutes of the first episode and rage quit and deleted the series from my DVR.
That's the correct call. Correct call. But Lev Grossman has a fantastic way with words.
If the book's good, I might check that out.
Yeah, I enjoyed the trilogy.
Yep. Yeah, it is nothing like the TV show. I had something.
I could see by the look on your face that you did. That's why I was waiting.
It has since flown.
I wasn't sure what was happening, and I found it very interesting that when he was watching TV, that the movie ended, and then we got to see the credits.
Yes.
As if this movie's over. Like, what is happening?
Okay, I think that's also what I felt like was tipping off to the timeline piece. Because, and I mean, this is some stuff I read too. There's, the name of the Zemeckis is directed. Yeah, and didn't he do Back to the Future?
Was Zemeckis?
Robert Zemeckis?
Yeah.
I thought he did a time movie.
You know, he did Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right. I do feel like I would have said something when we watched this, though.
And
by Gerald Kramer. I don't see a direct buy on there.
Go back.
If there is a Robert Zemeckis joke in here, though, that's going to be really goddamn good.
I don't think it was meant to be, because after the fact, I was looking up some stuff, and specifically the Zemeckis thing. He was like, I just thought it was funny. It was a random name that meaning that. Plus, it was the idea was that he would probably never make a movie that looked like that. Like it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
What Robert Zemeckis would do. It is
Zemeckis. You are right. I have found the moment. Interesting.
What moment are you speaking of? The
Zemeckis.
Oh,
I found the title card.
Yeah, that was just a little jarring, the way they did that.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of jarring stuff. I like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kudos to. I mean, I thought Toni Collette did a fine job. She was a little bit over the top in quite a bit of her role. David, is it Thewlis? David Thewlis. I found his acting particularly intriguing. The way he went from kind of doddering old man, saying very inappropriate things, like he should have known better, but was saying inappropriate things. To there was a point later in the film where he is crystal clear and speaking very, just very clearly, and it was noticeable. Like it was really obvious that this was a different person mentally. His mental faculties were just completely different at that point in the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they. I do feel like him and Toni Collette had a lot of work to do.
They did. They really did. They really carried the idea that things were changing around the other two actors,
Mhm.
where their story was supposed to be more straightforward, seemed to be more linear. The background of what was going on with mom and dad was not. Not at all.
I mean, I guess. So the dance sequence, which is now what's on my screen here.
Right.
So it is a better looking version of Jessie Plemons that's dead.
It is.
And he ended up, like, she looks disappointed he wasn't better. So now he's walking away disappointed he wasn't better. But, like, the weird thing is, in the beginning of the movie, when he gets in his car to drive to school, he looks out the window, and it's clear that that's a house where children grew up. So, did he marry the chick in the dancing thing and then just never reached his potential, and that potential is what's dead there, and then she ended up leaving him, right? The janitor ended up killing the young potential that he had because, like, she looks really disappointed at him, and then she just bolts. So is he just this old, lonely, divorced dude, and, like, his wife bolted for the hotness? Or did he actually kill this guy?
And I think this is the brilliant thing of the movie. I don't think any of us are wrong.
Yeah, because
I think we're all right. I think we're all correct. I think this movie was well made to the point where any of these are true, depending on what we bring to it. This is the Trion Dagobah.
So
what we bring to it is what we take from it.
Sorry.
This is the tree on Kashyyyk, where we can set every single one of our Star Wars stories because it can do everything. Everything can happen at that tree.
Wow.
I just finished Jedi Fallen Order. And spoiler, you go to fucking Kashyyyk because in every goddamn Star Wars game, you gotta go to Kashyyyk now.
Well, yeah, because you gotta see the Wookiees.
You gotta see the Wookiees. I mean, it was only in one movie for about 30 seconds, so, like, that's where Chewie's from. We gotta see it. It's got a big tree.
Yep. Well, and that's all thanks to the holiday special, because that's where it came from. I actually did like Fallen Order.
I like Fallen Order too.
I hope they make another one.
I feel like they will. They left it.
Yeah.
I like that we didn't intersect much with the actual storyline.
Yes.
I always like that.
Yes.
Because it is incredible to me that in a galaxy-spanning empire that spans thousands and thousands of years, we can only tell stories in the scope of the same 30. Like, I don't understand. The same 4 planets, the same 30 years. I don't know why we can't get out of this bubble.
Well, hopefully we're doing that some soon. Sounds like the new publishing initiative, they're getting away from it.
Good.
What is it? The High Republic, I believe is what it's called.
Problem is that the Jedi are just inherently boring, and so it's difficult to write a story about them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this. Like, they wrote the story they needed to write about them in Last Jedi. That was the conclusion to the story. There's not much else that's interesting to do there.
Yeah, that's why the other stories are making Jedis a footnote in the story, and that's fine by me. I can't think of much else that I had to bring up about the movie.
Yeah, I don't think I have a ton.
Yeah, that's the problem with a movie like this, is that, like, it's hard to talk about any individual scene because they're all so fucking weird.
Yeah, and they're weird. Like, individually, they might not be weird, but in the context of everything else, they are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, any one scene itself, if a movie was set that way, would not necessarily be a weird scene.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, no,
just in the context of
that scene with the pig was weird all the time.
that scene with the pig was weird.
What did you make of the whole pig with maggots? Is it the idea that like death is always in us, or was there more going on there?
Oh, I thought it was a throwback to him showing her the maggoty pigs.
Well, yeah. But like, what is that whole symbol? What's going on with that? Is it just
Yeah, I feel like
we're mortal, or
yeah,
okay,
the constancy of death and rebirth.
okay.
Since, you know, as he like the whole ending sequence with him in Oklahoma
Mm-hmm.
Was just him recasting his life,
Mm-hmm.
right, away from whatever disappointments he had into everyone in the audience applauding him for being an old man.
That was one thing I want to talk about, was that the ending sequence where he's on stage and he does the song and he does the speech, and everyone there are young people in old person makeup.
In dramatic old person makeup.
Yeah, in dramatic old person makeup. It's not good old person makeup. It's the old person makeup that Holden wore on stage when he was trying to play the dad in Sense and Sensibility. Like, it is old person stage makeup, and not good stage makeup. It is like high school production stage makeup. Like, it's not professional, but I think it adds an interesting quality to it, because that's what he knew from stage makeup, because he would go and see the productions. That and the whole speech that he gives at the end is cribbed from A Beautiful Mind.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't realize it either. It was like, it's weird. This isn't 100% in context. And I looked it up, and yeah, it is the speech from A Beautiful Mind. They did that on purpose. That was done on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just very bizarre. All along with the naked old man walking with the pig in front of him.
So much naked old man, but
I did like the moment when they're eating dinner and Dad says, "Oh yeah, everything here at the table is from this farm," and the ham is there. Yeah. And she looks over at Jake. He's just like, dig in. Wait, is that the maggot ham? Oh yeah, that was pretty choice.
Yeah.
Are you still watching that movie over there?
No. I'm not. I was scrolling through an interview with Rudy Giuliani where he cites Game of Thrones as though it was historical. And that's why he called for a trial by combat.
Fantastic.
Because when Tyrion was accused of something, he was able to get a champion to fight for him. So,
yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I was I've been watching Sopranos every week with the Talking Sopranos podcast. So I'm staying current with how they're talking about it. And the episode that I just watched was their Columbus Day episode. They did an episode that centered around Columbus Day and how there was a push by the Native Americans in Jersey to call it Italian Pride Day. Let's stop holding Christopher Columbus up.
Okay.
Yeah, let's stop holding Christopher Columbus up. Well, all these mob guys are like, that's bullshit. They're going to take away our Italian heritage, our hero. This is a hero of the Italian people. And like they start saying, what's next? Are they gonna, they're taking away all the symbols of our Italian culture. What's next? They're gonna take down Rudy Giuliani also. And it was like, oh man, that did not age well. Yeah. The whole thing is just rotten. And they like the guy from Italy, who's part of the crew, he's like, yeah, Columbus sucks. And they're like, what? How can you say that? He's a hero of America. And he's like, yeah, no, he's from Northern Italy. Yeah, fuck those people.
Genoa.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's interesting seeing how far television's come since then. Because they did things that were just absolutely groundbreaking for television at the time. And now it's almost quaint. Like they were being protested because of some of the things they did and some of the storylines they had. And like looking back on it, it's like, oh man, some of these things now in the context of Game of Thrones and some of the lot more cerebral television we have is just it's not that Game of Thrones is in there.
Tell me how much incest was in Sopranos.
None.
Well, okay, that's pretty pedestrian, don't you think?
Yeah.
Now we are all incest all the time.
Yeah, we got Sopranos murdering prostitutes was the stepping stone we needed to get to the incest of Sopranos of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones did start strong with incest. Episode 1.
That is true. That is absolutely true. Yeah, I was actually surprised at how closely the first episode followed that first chapter or two of the book. Like, it was really close.
Mm-hmm.
And then just slowly started diverging from there.
This is not by any stretch an original opinion. I have stolen this from like many, many smarter people than myself, but it is incredible to see just exactly how much it evaporated from the public consciousness as soon as that last season ended. Like, just poof.
It's weird. It did, but then it left a legacy. I mean, think about the memes. As soon as, tell whoever it was me. All of that stuff. Like, as a narrative, it disappeared, but as a set of images, as a cultural thing,
yeah. But
stuck.
What was the last 2 memes that you can think of from Game of Thrones?
Okay, so tell Cersei it was me.
Uh-huh.
I know the other one for me is
go ahead.
No, for me it's a meme about Pedro Pascal wearing a helmet.
Yeah. But that's my point. Like, the tell Cersei it was me I cannot remember the last time I saw one that wasn't that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there are others. I feel like it pops up from time to time. Maybe not even just as memes, but like little comparisons. I feel like it gets alluded to a fair amount, but it's also not something as compared to The Sopranos. How old is The Sopranos? Is it 20 years old now?
It's more than, it started in 99.
People are definitely still watching it. It's worth rewatching. I would never rewatch the whole Game of Thrones again. And yeah, it's
I am really enjoying the rewatch of The Sopranos.
Oh yeah, but
thoroughly.
Yeah, absolutely. But illusion wise, I feel like Game of Thrones is one of those things that is going to get mined for that, but it'll be one of those things that also nobody's going to watch.
Right.
Again.
Yeah.
And
well, and listening in listening to the guys who do Talking Sopranos, because it's Michael Imperioli who played Christopher and Steve Sciarippa who played Bobby Bacala. They talk about they've done up until last year when the world stopped, they were still touring internationally doing talks about The Sopranos. Yeah, there's still a call for that, and they're saying how crazy it is that they have people coming up. It's like I have kids who are the same age as the people who are walking up to me and saying, "Oh my God, Bobby Bacala! Oh my God, Christopher!" They're reading lines to me from the TV show, and it's like these are 20-year-olds, and it's just crazy to them how it's still in the consciousness. And I think something like HBO Max just keeps it there. Which gives you the opportunity to revisit it. I know,
and it's also worth revisiting.
It is.
As compared to some other things.
Yeah. For example, I plan on revisiting The Wire. I saw the first season, but we went for a period where we didn't have HBO, and that's when I lost touch with it. And I really enjoyed season 1, and I've heard that it just gets better as it goes. And that's one I plan on going back to. I rewatched all of Oz when the pandemic started. I do not necessarily recommend that going back to that for anybody. It broke a lot of ground. It broke a lot of careers. I mean, there was a lot of people who were nobody who you see just walking in and out of scenes of at the prison. Like, oh, there's a new guy who just came to the prison and he died like an episode or two later, but it's somebody really famous now. It's that's kind of crazy to me.
Oh well, I hadn't even ever heard of it.
Oz?
Until now, was not aware of it as a concept.
Oh, it's a prison. Yeah, it's a prison drama, and it's brutal.
It was first, it looks like.
It was HBO's first drama, and it was a prison drama. It was brutal. Christopher Maloney got his start there. In fact, he was making that and SVU. The first couple of seasons of SVU, they were shooting those at the same time. Like he would, I think like as the season ended for one, he'd jump over to the other show and work on that. He was one of the few actors that was allowed to have contracts on two shows at the same time. Which is really odd too, because like there's full frontal male nudity in it, and he's one of the people you see. But it's just weird that you then, but he's also this TV star on a broadcast television show. J.K. Simmons, that's the first place I saw him, and that guy, he plays a Nazi, and he's a bastard.
We got those all over the place now. Sure.
Yeah, it's the quaint old
pedestrian.
It's the quaint 90s Nazis though.
Yeah, the kind you find just in jail. You're like, oh yeah, You only
Yeah.
find those kinds of people in jail.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
Not in our capital.
Yeah, they're survival Nazis. They're opportunistic. It's like when you go to jail and you're a like situational homosexual. You.
Oh yeah, you see a lot of that. There's a lot of that.
To, like join a gang to a
lot of prison tats. Like
all the Nazis, shamans.
All the Nazis in Oz, you know them because they're either skinheads and or have a swastika tattoo or the Iron Cross tattoo. Like they wear their Nazism like literally on their body, like on display. Yeah. There's a few other people that had big roles in that that have come out and done a lot of other things. It's weird to me though, the guy who he played this just absolute bastard of a character. He's the guy that's on those insurance commercial that's Mayhem. That the guy that just he is the mayhem that is the reason you need insurance. Yeah, he was in Oz, and he was just this absolute bastard of a character in that.
And he dated Liz Lemon.
Yeah, he did. Same guy. He's the guy that. Hey, dummy. He had a character who was his brother in the show, and it was actually the actor's brother. They had brothers they were in the show, and they were brothers in real life. And that was crazy that they didn't actually do that. But it is like 99% male cast because it's set in a women's prison with the exception of like there's a few female guards and there's a female nun who like is one of their spiritual counselors. BD Wong is the priest is the chaplain for the prison. Like, yeah.
BD Wong's got some talent.
Yeah.
That guy's got some hustle.
But if you want to be sure to see Dick on screen, Oz is there for you. Then again, you also might see somebody shitting in another man's mouth.
I've been to the internet before.
Yeah.
For every taste.
Yeah, I mean, but I haven't watched Oz or The Wire. As enticing as you're making Oz sound, The Wire's got Idris Elba, so like, it's real hard though.
Yeah, I am
gonna watch one.
I'm not recommending Oz. I watched it out of nostalgia, and I'm glad I did, but I'm not recommending it to anybody else.
Well, we're gonna have to see how far this vaccine rollout goes, because I am running dry over here. I found a new series, I'm Sorry, which you should watch because it's fucking good.
We watched it as it aired.
Oh, well, thanks for the fucking heads up, Tony. Where were you on that?
I probably told you about it. You probably ignored me. Actually, you may have not had cable at the time. It's not that old of a series. It's only like in the last year or two.
It didn't get renewed for a third season.
Yeah.
Now I'm currently watching Search Party, which is like okay, but it's got this dude in it that looks just like Sam, and I can't not see Sam. He looks just like Sam. He's even a giant.
Have you seen The Detour?
Nope.
You might want to check out The Detour.
The Detour, he says.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere at the moment. I think it was on TBS.
TBS. Oh, Jason Jones, Samantha Bee.
Yeah.
I do like both those people. Well, Tony, my dance card is a little full right now. Now that I have a new PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that was congratulations there.
That I won in a contest, and I've been Miles Moralesing my way around New York.
What do you think of that?
It's all right.
Did you play the first one?
No.
Oh, okay.
style of game is not my jam, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless.
Yeah. If you enjoy it, the first one's worth picking up. It's the same game.
Yeah.
The first one is the first game they broke the concept, and the second game is they needed something really good to sell the PS5 with, and this is like extended DLC from the first game.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Good.
Yeah, it's short. It's a short game. It's not going to take you long to get through.
Well, they just like Fallen Order, they put so much like shit I don't care about in the game, like time wasters in the game. Like Fallen Order had like it was like more than 100 customizations you could make to your lightsaber that were absolutely meaningless. Like,
Yep.
Who the fuck cares about this?
Right.
Like, you can't even fucking see the lightsaber, like, at all, but you can customize, like, 8 different sections of the handle, and it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. But Holden absolutely loved that part of the game.
What?
Like, yeah.
Why?
There's a certain class of fan that just loves the lightsaber customization pieces. For me, I was just stoked when I could get an orange blade.
Yeah, I mean, like, the color I get because you see it.
Right.
But, like, the handle and, like, all the other, like, the other 8 pieces of it that they've made up for a reason.
Right.
Like, I just don't...
Yeah, like the different costumes and stuff. Some of them are clever in Spider-Man, but for the most part, they don't give you anything. Like, you can purchase the costume to unlock abilities, but aside from that, you don't need to change your costume to use them. Like, we played the first one, and then for months afterwards, they kept releasing patches that gave you new costumes in the first one. And Holden's like, "Oh, did you play it again?" No, I beat the game. What? Oh, but they got. That's not what I'm here for. You go right ahead. You can play on my save. I don't care. I beat the game. You do whatever you need to. I'm done with it. If they give me some new missions, I'll go back to it and do those. But otherwise, I finished the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right now I'm tooling around Egypt in Origins.
Yeah, I'll
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Valhalla after I finish. Miles.
Yeah.
Mm. All right, what else we got?
Not much. Not much.
Who you gonna line up for next week, Tony?
Nobody yet. I'm gonna put some feelers out this weekend, and
I'm gonna concentrate on Duncan Jones.
You make that happen.
You know what else I found out at my company Christmas party? My HR lady just casually dropped this one. She was talking about some other dumb bullshit I didn't care about. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, Pedro Pascal is a family friend. We have him over for dinner, like, a lot. Whoa. Let's rewind a little bit. What?
Yeah.
You have Mando over for dinner? What?
Oh. Those pictures of Mando and Poe broing out together on New Year's Eve, that made my New Year.
Mm-hmm.
And see those pictures of the days after.
That guy is really goddamn funny, man. So Ted Cruz was like, Wonder Woman 1984 was Pedro Pascal's worst performance yet. And so Pedro Pascal replied, and he's like, "Hey, if you think Ted Cruz is wrong, call him and tell him so. Here's his phone number." That's really
good.
fucking funny because fuck Ted Cruz hard. He did the best he could. All right.
He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he did. He did what he could.
Yep. There's a lot.
He wasn't the problem with that movie.
No, he was not. No, he was not. It doesn't give me good and happy feelings though about Rogue Squadron, which I hear that because Patty Jenkins is making the Rogue Squadron movie, Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
But I also read something that like Patty Jenkins didn't have as much creative control over 1984 as she did the original Wonder Woman.
I heard exactly the opposite.
Really?
I heard she was given full creative control because of how well. Yeah.
Oh, it's George Lucas syndrome.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with the original Star Wars trilogy.
Right.
Then we got the prequels, and then we're like, oh. No one needs complete control over a work.
No.
No one. No one person gets to make art anymore.
No, my at least that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but I had heard that Patty Jenkins was given a lot of creative control because of how well the first one did. The studio actually fought her on some stuff and forced her to put some things in that she wasn't thrilled about. One of them being like the big over the top ending sequence. I agree that was not the best decision to have that as part of the movie, considering how grounded most of the rest of the movie was for a superhero movie. To have that big god battle at the end of the movie was just okay. Yeah, there's a lot of problems with Wonder Woman. Though Holden pointed out to me that they just released an honest trailer for Wonder Woman 84. I would recommend checking that 6 minutes of video out. It's worth seeing.
Queuing it up for as soon as this bullshit ends, Tony.
Starring Amazon Wishlist. Yeah, there's some fun moments in the honest trailer.
Okay. All right. Speaking of when this bullshit's over, who has what else to talk about here?
I'm done. I'm good.
I'm good.
Are we done?
I believe so.
Okay. I will end the broadcast. For the two viewers we still have, good night. And if you're listening, the next episode in the feed will be episode 500. Good night.
Right.
Yep.